is not to be so hard on yourself and not being scared of making mistakes, because mistakes will happen inevitably. But the only way that you move forward is by making those decisions and then saying, right, did that work? Did that not work? Assess, change, move on. If you're new here, hello, my name is Megan. Welcome back, everybody else. In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more mindset stuff because it's so important, and this has been on my mind so much lately, that you can do all the strategy you want, but if you don't have your head in the game and you have so many doubts and so many fears, and all of these things are going to start showing up, like procrastination, perfectionism, and I've done all of this stuff. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that, and that's why the topic of this video is if you're scared to mess up, you can't succeed. And I know, especially in the early stages of my jewelry business back in 2015 when I started, I took so long to make every single decision. I literally overthought everything because I thought, oh my God, this is going to make or break me. This is going to make or break me. And the difference between successful people and regular people, what I've learned in later years, this is me 11 years down the line, is that successful people are just used to failing, shall I say. They're not scared of failure. They'll just make a decision and roll with it. If it's the right decision, great. If it's not, that's just more information and more data to help direct them and go a different direction. So in the beginning, I overthought everything. Like, oh my goodness, my branding, I thought about it for so long. And then I finally chose black because my jewelry photographed really nice against black. What a ridiculous decision. And it took me so long to come to that decision, but it was all me and it was all internal and my ideas in my head and wasn't based on anything external. If I just gone ahead and made that decision way faster, I would have saved so much time and realized much sooner that that was not on brand. And same goes with target audience, USP, all of these things. Like, at first, I thought that my target audience was women aged 30 to 50 with extra money for handmade jewelry, and all of us in our class all realized we had the same target audience. We were like, wow, what a coincidence. Like, this is so cool. Like, we're all so aligned. We have the same target audience. No, we didn't. We just were scraping the surface of what target audience actually meant. And then later I refined it to like sustainable, ethical handmade jewelry. Then that became still too broad of a niche, so then I narrowed it down again. But all of these steps kept taking time until I finally honed in on all of the things that did work, but I took a really long time to make each of those decisions. So that is the point that I'm trying to make with this video, is it is scary. I totally get it, like especially when you're starting and you have 1,001 decisions to make every day, and that feels very overwhelming and feels very exhausting, and that's where a lot of the stress comes from. And let's be realistic, like you're starting a brand new business, something that you've never done before. Maybe you have a background in finance or a background in whatever you have as your other job before you started your jewelry business. And that's maybe working for somebody else, maybe working independently. If you're working for yourself, you'll have a better understanding going into it what actually is going to happen, like what's required of you and how much you have to learn. So my point is not to be so hard on yourself and not being scared of making mistakes, because mistakes will happen inevitably. But the only way that you move forward is by making those decisions and then saying, right, did that work? Did that not work? Assess, change, move on. Like for me with my website, I remember that was like such a humongous stress for me because I'm not very techie. Grew up in a village in South Africa, had this antique computer that would just switch off all the time and say, I've performed an illegal action, and just switch off. And so I was terrified to do anything wrong because it would take literally half an hour to load the page. And so I was like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Like, I'm going to waste like 3 hours if I click the wrong buttons. So it really made me scared to make moves. So maybe this is you, maybe this isn't you. But if this is resonating with you, I hear you, I feel you, I've been there. And what I've learned is that you've just got to do it. And then you can move on. So another way to think about it is reframing messing up or mistakes in your head. So successful people are not successful because they didn't have mistakes. They didn't make mistakes and they were just lucky and everything worked out for them. They are successful because they made mistakes and they learned along the way. So the more mistakes you make, actually, the better off you are, because you'll get there faster. So it's that taking away that fear of, I'm going to mess up, I'm going to do it wrong, and just being like, mistakes are stepping stones along the journey, and that's totally natural. So just make the decision, move on. If it's right, if it's wrong, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. But that's how you grow your business so much faster. So people often think that overthinking is a personality trait, and they think, oh, that's just me. I overthink things and there's nothing I can do about it. There's always something you can do about it. And if you think about overthinking, it's just fear of making a decision. So it's so much better just to make that decision. But if you can't make that decision and you're scared of that decision, ask yourself, what would happen if I make this decision? And then say, okay, say disaster strikes for whatever reason and that doesn't work out. What would I do in that situation? So then at least you know, okay, well, if I make that decision, this is what's going to happen, worst case scenario, and I'll move on. So you can do a worst case scenario, best case scenario. So at least you know what you will do next. Because I think it's that fear, for me at least, the fear of not knowing what's going to happen next. But if you kind of like plan out the full scenario, like do the full journey, like the full loop of the story in your head. So then you're like, okay, well, that takes away the intensity of that decision. So this is something that I hear a lot as well from jewelers in my DMs saying, I'm not ready. I'll do that when I'm ready. And that readiness will never come. I'm sorry to say, but it will never come. You kind of just have to start, and then you'll have more information to then make the next decision. It's like we think, and I thought myself as well, that I needed to know everything before I began. But that's literally not possible, because with every single decision you make, there's going to be a crossroads, and it could go this way or it could go this way. But the only way to know what's going to happen next is by just starting. So that feeling ready will never come, because that readiness only comes with information. But you don't know what information you're even looking for in the beginning before you're ready to even begin. Does that make sense? So information is what makes you feel ready, but you don't know what information you're looking for or need before you begin. So that's why you just got to start. Messy is better than perfection. I know us jewelers love to be perfectionists, and we kind of have to, because we have that attention to detail. But I watch in myself when sometimes I'm thinking perfectionism as a good thing, and it's helpful, and it's pushing me to do better and, make things really good, especially when it comes to the jewelry making itself. But when it comes to business, I've noticed in myself, and maybe this is also something you've noticed, is that I let perfectionism stop me. Even, to be honest, filming this very YouTube video, I tried to film this YouTube video 2 days ago, and I spent so long setting up the background, getting the perfect lighting, making sure everything was good, like wash my hair, feeling ready. And then by the time I sat down to film the YouTube video, I'd got myself into such a perfectionist mentality that I couldn't actually film the video because I was so stressed out about doing it perfectly. So that's why I was like, today's not the day. I'm just gonna put it on the back burner for now and come back. Yesterday was a chaotic day here with all kinds of things going on, so couldn't film yesterday. Today I was like, okay, I'm just gonna film, do a take, see how it goes. If I need to do another one, that's totally fine. But taking away that idea that I need to do it perfectly from the get-go just makes it so much easier. Because at the end of the day, you want to show up authentically. And I do, especially in my YouTube videos, whenever I'm creating content, I want to show up authentically and as myself. But if I overthink things, then I start to get a bit like, oh my goodness, this needs to be perfect. And maybe you guys think, oh, you're so casual and comfortable in front of the camera. It's not always the case. Sometimes I psych myself out and I can't film. And sometimes when I'm feeling more relaxed and taking away that idea of perfectionism, then I'm good. And I can sit here and have a nice chat with you and connect with you guys. So it's the same with your jewelry. If you're feeling like you're trying to push and force things, then it's not going to feel comfortable and easy for you. So this is actually going to be a topic for another YouTube video that I'm going to film, which is all about how to feel like you can move forward and sell your jewelry without feeling salesy. So keep your eyes open for that one, because that one will be coming out soon. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of different topics that I feel are super important, more along the mindset category. So drop a comment below if you're here for that, if you find that interesting and you think you'd find that helpful. But I'm definitely feeling drawn to doing more of that kind of content, because I've talked a lot of strategy, but strategy will only get you so far, and there's so much of it that's in our heads that's holding us back. So this has been super helpful for me growing my jewelry business to 6 figures over the years, and I want to share that stuff with you guys as well. So let me know in the comments if you're going to be sticking around for that. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.